Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Man Bites Film. This is our 50th episode, finally. We're almost reaching our 1 year anniversary, and my name is Lewis, and I have a special guest with me.
I'm Brandon. I'm back.
Yeah, he's back. Alright, today we're actually going to be reviewing a TV show, but it is one of the most phenomenal TV shows I've seen in the longest freaking time. It's called Stranger Things.
Yes, sir. All right. So
This shit was great.
yeah.
Brans, what the hell do you think? Like,
as I've talked to many people about this show, it is an homage to 80s films. It is
very much.
basically an 8-hour Steven Spielberg film.
Yeah.
It is phenomenal. I watched it in 2 days. I couldn't stop. Yeah, I would strongly recommend anyone to go watch this, but let's...
And this is streaming on Netflix,
Yes.
so it's easy access, and the second season is already signed on for sure, so it's definitely going to be something that's going to progress and go on. Plot-wise, let's go a little bit into the plot. I'm going to hit a couple of the little side notes, and then I'll let you chime in, Brands, okay?
Okay.
So the main plot revolves around these kids and their life, and while all these circumstances are going on around them, and in their attempt to find one of their friends that are lost, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes into a very supernatural, very much like Fringe style story. It revolves around a lot of conspiracy theories and a lot of pseudoscience and stuff like that, and it tracks these kids' lives, but very realistic, very to the style of the 80s and early 90s filmmaking. Like Brandon said, Steven Spielberg style, very much like E.T., like Super 8, that type of style. What do you think, Brandon? What do you want to add to that?
So are we saying like similar stuff, or what I just thought of?
Just plot-wise.
Plot-wise, I think the show has like phenomenal pacing.
Yeah.
Phenomenal pacing. There's a very clear exposition. There's a very clear middle, climax, and an end. And the show does leave you with questions that
Oh yeah.
I'm assuming will get answered in season 2. And
I hope they don't. I hope they don't answer the questions, because
who knows?
It's that suspense that I love, is that they don't answer every single question for you like they do in shows and movies nowadays.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s, you had imagination. They left it open to imagination. Like E.T., perfect example. It cut sort of like quickly into the government kicking in and breaking down into the house.
Yeah.
There's no explanation of how they found out, really, or how they, that's left for the interpretation of the person. It's in the point of view of the children, which children don't have a clear perspective. And I love that. And the characters in this film, holy shit, let's jump into the characters.
I love how you refer to it as a film. That's how highly regarded this show is. So yeah, before we get into the characters, of course, let me go through the IMDb and all that stuff.
Okay.
And I just had it here a second ago. Here we go. On IMDb, it has a 9.1. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 95%.
Yeah.
It's
and that's actually 100% true. Like,
yeah,
honestly, I give this a 10 out of 10 on my thing.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Let's just say I've grown out of TV recently, and this was the first show that, from the first shot, it gripped me, and it
the
continued.
title sequence.
Yes.
Just the title sequence. When I saw that, I was like,
yeah,
holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. This is like, I was like, wow, this is great. And usually the title sequences, you get kind of done with it and like tired of listening to it.
No.
Throughout the whole show, I loved watching the title sequence.
Me too.
I never got bored of that music. It is great. That synthesizer music and all that stuff. '80s style. I loved it.
Yeah, with the crackly VHS quality to it, with the neon lights. It's very '80s. So yeah, the characters. So there's a lot of characters in this show.
There's a lot of characters.
Yeah. So the most well known of all of them is, of course, Winona Ryder, who plays Joyce Byers.
What'd you think of her character?
I think she did an awesome job.
I think she was the weakest part of the whole film, though.
Really?
The show. I really thought that she was the weakest part of the whole show. I think the kids, especially the chubby kid,
he's the best.
Porky,
Dustin. Yeah, he's the best.
I labeled them a different name for each one because I can't remember. I'm not good with names, so I call him Porky.
That's so mean. That's so mean.
What?
Continue. Go on.
Yeah.
Let's not go down that road right now.
I love his character. He reminds me of the Goonies. The what's his name from Goonies?
Chunk.
Yeah, Chunk.
Yeah.
I love him, and that is I'm just waiting for him to start doing a dance or something that everybody's gonna remember, and that's honestly what I'm waiting for. And his commentary on the different things that are going on are hilarious, and I'm like, wow, that's exactly what I would have said.
Unfortunately,
that's exactly what I would have said.
Unfortunately, not the redeeming thing. The most noteworthy thing of his in the show is that he is missing his front teeth. So he has a really cute lisp, not in a bad way. I've actually seen pictures. I think he grew out his teeth finally. So
did he?
Yeah. So the kid no longer has a massive gap in the front of his teeth. Yeah, toothless. So yeah, there's Winona Ryder. There's David Harbour, who plays Chief Jim Hopper.
I think he did a great job.
Yeah, he did a phenomenal job.
I was so blown back because I had just rewatched No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, you could tell the influence from the characters from No Country for Old Men, but wow, this guy did it so perfect. I was like, I didn't think anybody could do a character like that so well.
Mm-hmm.
Until I saw this, and I was like, this is great. This is really good.
And then we have the group of the main characters of the children, which are, I'm not going to say the actor's name, I'll just say the character's name. Mike Wheeler, Eleven, Dustin Henderson, and Lucas Sinclair, and what's the other kid's name? Did I say his name? Mike, Dustin, 11, Lucas, and no, he's on the bottom. My bad. Will. Okay. Will.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm missing one here. But yeah, that is the central group of characters, the central group of children that are trying to find their friend.
And I'm telling you right now, guys, this is going to be something like Stand By Me, that all of these kid actors are going to break out from this film and make a great name for themselves. Every single one of them have the acting chops to be one of the great actors of our times.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, every single one of them. The 11 character, she does such a great job in this film. I can't imagine how hard it is for a child to be able to grasp the concepts that she grasps and portray them the way that she portrays them in the show. The way that she feels the emotions and you actually feel what she's going through and the suffering that she's going through because of all the shit that she went through because of the psychotic doctors.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. It that's what grabs you in this show is the characters. And it's the children playing the characters, which children, if you know anything about film, are the hardest things to show emotion and build a story on, especially something like this. The only directors that know how to do it are the great directors of our times, and you're talking about Spieley and J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams did a great job, and this is very, very similar to Super 8, I think. Very similar. I actually almost just got confused with two of the characters. I was about to talk about the Pyro character. I'm like, hold on a sec, that's Super 8.
I love that kid.
Yeah.
And rounding it out at the end is the two, the older brother and the older sister of Will and Mike, which is Jonathan Byers and Karen, and the antagonist of the show, Dr. Martin Brenner, which is played by Matthew Modine. I hope I'm saying his name correctly.
Yep,
which is the protagonist of Full Metal Jacket.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Which
when I saw him, I was like, yes.
Yeah. So Jonathan and Karen do phenomenal jobs, both of them.
I doubt. So. I didn't think that they did as good of a job. I like the way that they portray a relationship at that age. It's very realistic, and I like that they didn't pull any punches. Like nowadays, the pussification of TV is just ridiculous. That they don't show any type of realistic approach to children and teenagers and the way teenagers actually are. You know,
yeah.
I like how they approach that realistically, how teenagers are. Nowadays, it's either portrayed as super stupid and slutty or completely unrealistic and super conservative, which is not the truth. There's an in between.
Yeah.
You know, and I like that these characters are that in between.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I thought they did good jobs. Like,
I didn't like their characters and the way that they acted was okay, but you're blown away by the kid actors, and then you have these guys that are okay. So it's like it lowers the expectation for it destroys the image of what they could actually do because these kids are doing such a great job. So it's
there's certain things
kind of biased, I guess.
There's certain things about the show that blow me away, which I wish I could go into depth with it, because if I did, it would kind of
ruin it,
spoil something.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that I remember as the show progressed, and I kind of grasped. I was like, "Wow, it's brilliant." So one of them is it's just a conversation between Jonathan and Karen. Of Nancy, Jonathan and Nancy, and what am I saying? Sorry, and she says that her parents don't love each other.
Yeah.
And that her mom just married her dad because she wanted the white picket house at the end of the cul-de-sac.
Yep.
And that comes into play later on in the show.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so brilliant.
Shot.
It's so brilliant.
Oh, my God. That scene was so spot on. Yeah. I was like, you could see the parallels between the two, and that just...
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow.
It was so brilliant.
Wow.
Like, as I saw that, like, it doesn't click with you. You're just like, oh, she's talking to Jonathan about her life. And then at the end of the show, it kind of comes full circle, and you're like, oh, wow, that scene was actually really, really important.
Yeah.
And it's just brilliant.
Yeah, don't sleep on anything that goes on in this film. You have to watch shot by shot, because everything will play a part in understanding the full concept of this film. It's a very, very difficult concept to follow if you're not used to these type of films or shows.
Yeah.
So if you're not into those sci-fi, very science-y shows, then this is going to take you a minute to get your head around. Yeah. This is very much like in that field, that realm of Lost, Fringe, all those things.
Yeah.
So if you have a hard time with those shows, you will have a hard time understanding this, so watch frame by frame.
Another scene, which I won't go too much into before we go into similar shows or films for that matter, is right at the beginning in the first episode when they're playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, the show is brilliant. There's like Lewis said, there's things that pay attention to everything because it will come back. It will be of importance to the characters later on. So the two brothers, the creators of the show, they were brilliant. And the directing, everything is just phenomenal. And so let's segue into similar films / shows. Like I said in the beginning, this is a straight up homage to anything 80s. Lewis was born in the 80s. I was not, but I love, because I grew up with him and my parents, they molded me into
with the Goonies and,
the Goonies,
and Indiana Jones and all that. Yeah.
And this movie is an homage to the Goonies, to even newer Super 8. And there's even, I wanted to bring one up that I read up in one there was only one website that brought it up, and I was like, this is so spot on. and that is Akira.
You think so?
Yes.
You think that... Okay.
Yes.
Explain, because I don't get that.
There are just scenes like... Okay, man, this might get a little spoilery, so... This is the only time that I'm going to be spoiler. If you don't want to hear it, leave. Come back in about a couple minutes, okay? Just in case. There are certain scenes... So I'm starting now.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a couple seconds to leave. Get out. Alright. There are certain scenes with Eleven in the hallways where she just attacks the government agency that is trying to come after her.
Okay, yeah.
Where she just blows them up, and it looks like Tetsuo from Akira.
Yeah.
It's just, that's like there was only one website, and I apologize, I don't remember what website it was that did it, but I found this to be so spot on. And then there,
I think that's that. I could see the children actors and all that stuff, that type of relationship, but Akira was very. There was something about it that was missing. It didn't have heart. That's the only thing that's missing in Akira, and I think that film falls flat because it doesn't have that heart.
Okay.
As much as this show does.
No,
so there is a big difference. I get that now, that concept of the supernatural powers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do get that.
Yeah. So now this is the end of the spoilers. We'll go back into discussing normal shit. There was one scene where it reminded me so much of E.T., and that's the scene when they're on the bikes.
Oh, yeah.
With the vans.
I think everybody got that.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think that this show looked a lot more and felt a lot more like Super 8 than anything else. Because I got the two mixed up so much.
Really?
Yeah. And it has the same style of filmmaking, the same colors, the same editing style. Everything is very, very similar. So I think that is the biggest takeaway from this, is the comparison between those two is the biggest.
But maybe...
I honestly do think. And obviously, J.J. Abrams is copying E.T.
Yeah. But
for Super 8.
Do you think that it reminds you of Super 8 because they're both homages to 80s films that they can't really hit it on the nail. They can get close enough.
Yeah.
And they will never be... Sadly, they will never be E.T. or The Goonies or whatever 80s film you want to compare it to. Yeah. But they can get close enough that it is just done. It's just, I don't know. It's a beautiful show to me because it's just this love for films that I don't know, and shows that don't exist like that anymore, I guess.
Yeah. It's a simpler time.
Yeah.
It really does. It takes you away. It actually, the show transports you away for those hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever you end up watching of the show at a time. That time period that you're watching that show, you completely forget about everything around you.
Yeah.
You completely become absorbed by this show because of the characters, because of the plot, because of everything. I think that's phenomenal, and that's the whole point of filmmaking and shows, is to be grasped into it.
Yeah.
So, what's your closing comments on this show? Anything that you want to let the audience know?
Closing comments? I think you'd be doing an injustice to yourself if you don't watch this show.
I agree, 100%.
It is arguably, next to certain other Netflix original shows and TV for that matter, I think it is one of the best television series that I've seen in a long time. And I feel like it's one of the best, if not arguably the best Netflix original series that there is.
By far it is. It is the best, period. At least in my opinion, too.
The production value, everything is done spot on. If you like 80s films like The Goonies, or even newer stuff like Super 8, please go watch this. It's only 8 episodes, and that kind of sucks when you start watching it because it's so small compared to some of their other stuff that you want more. And I hope that for season 2 we do get a longer season than 8 episodes. We probably won't.
I like that, though. I like the shortness, the briskness of it, because it keeps the characters grounded, it keeps the story grounded, and it doesn't go too far. I hope they keep this to maybe a 3-season show and they cut it off.
Oh yeah, no. This won't be a long.
I hope that they do.
This won't be a long running series for sure because it's gonna get stale if they keep. They're gonna keep rehashing the same thing. And,
it's like Fringe. Fringe was great for the first 3 seasons. After that, it felt like it was getting dragged on, and they just had no concept of what they were doing anymore.
Yeah, and
same thing with Lost.
Yeah, Lost don't even get there. But my last closing comment is thank you Netflix because I heard that the show they had pitched it to other TV channels, the two brothers, and they were denied. So and Netflix was like, yeah, sure, we'll do it. And so thank you Netflix because that show is phenomenal. I give it a 10 out of 10, which I know is fucking ridiculous, but I just love 80s stuff. I wasn't even born in that era, but just growing up with it, it's such a simpler time. It's such a cool era, and I love it. So yeah, I give it a 10 out of 10, and yeah, you should definitely go watch it.
I pretty much agree with every comment that you said. So honestly, I don't think there's anything else I could add to that. I give this a 10 out of 10 as well. This is a stand-up show. If you haven't seen it yet, watch it. Come back to us and let me know what you guys think about it. If you haven't seen the show and we introduced you to it, it's such a great show. It's definitely worth it. And in the next few days we're actually going to hit our 1 year anniversary, and next few weeks we're actually going to hit our 1 year anniversary, so I want you guys to stick around for that episode. We're going to do a special edition of that, and it's going to be a full-on like extravaganza, I guess you could say. So Brandon's going to be part of that show as well, and we're going to make it into like a show type of thing, like a full-on produced show. So I hope you guys will enjoy, and we'll see you guys next week on Man Bites Film.
See you guys.
Brandon?
See ya.